Most prisons have a dark and creepy past that comes back to haunt the living. There are a lot of strange and scary stories about what goes on behind the cell bars. So let's take a look at the top 10 scary prison urban legends part 2. If you guys missed part 1, get caught up, click right over here. Well, how's it going, you guys? I'm Landon Dalitzing. I'm your host for this video. Hopefully you guys are liking what we do here, and if you guys aren't already subscribed, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button with the bell notification on. We're closing in on 4.5 million subscribers. The question is, can we hit 5 million by Christmas? Alright, so enough of all that, let's jump right into this one like we always do. Let's get started with this list. Cropsey creeps onto this list in at number 10. Kids who live on Staten Island have been terrorized by scary stories about an escaped mental patient who would snatch innocent children. There are different variations of this urban legend. Some people say that Cropsey has a hook for a hand and he uses that to steal kids. Others believe that he carries out a bloody axe, while some people say that he's a demon that terrorizes the woods at nighttime. Although Cropsey was just known as a scary urban legend, this story became a reality when children started to go missing for real. Ottawa County Jail brings us to number 9. This prison is notoriously known to house some of the most sadistic criminals. Inmates would be locked up here while they are waiting on death row, and even though only 3 inmates died inside of these prison walls, some pretty horrifying things have happened here. According to the local legend, the 3 inmates who were executed here and the superintendent haunt this prison. The superintendent was very attached to this prison, so his ghost can be seen lurking in the halls looking to punish the inmates. Even though this prison is no longer in operation, visitors have reported feeling something tugging on them, feeling an intense amount of sadness in some of the cells, or they felt that there was a presence there that wasn't visible. Why are people visiting the jail when it's not even open? Sounds like a bad idea to me. Number 8, we have a Missouri State Penitentiary. This prison was named the bloodiest 47 acres in America because of its brutal and intense history. There have been over 100 organized paranormal investigations here because it is one of the most haunted prisons in America. But according to the local legend, the most haunted place in the entire prison is A Hall and the solitary confinement chamber. One of the scariest ghosts that haunts the prison is located in cell 47. Well, cell 47 was a prisoner who was brutally murdered with a sledgehammer during a prison riot. His spirit was photographed during one of the paranormal investigations. Yeah, that's not creepy at all. It is believed that his spirit is extremely violent and aggressive. So if I were you, I wouldn't be visiting this creepy prison anytime soon. Maxwell Tree Police Station makes its way onto this list at number 7. This prison was one of the first in the country to attempt to house inmates separately. So because of this, the warden was required by law to visit the inmates every single day. This doesn't sound too bad, right? Wrong. The inmates were routinely tortured in order to gain control. Some of them were soaked in water and then hung out during winter. Others were tightly chained to a chair and it was impossible to move. They were bound so tightly that their circulation was cut off. So this torture method resulted in a lot of amputations. But these horror stories still didn't compare to the urban legends surrounding the basement of this prison, because the majority of the tortures occurred in the basement. It is said that the ghosts of the inmates haunt these walls and you can still hear them moaning, crying, and rattling their chains. Ottawa Jail creeps into number 6. This old building served as Ottawa's prison for over 100 years. So that's plenty of time to generate a couple of urban legends at this notorious jail. The Ottawa Jail was the site of 3 horrific executions. These inmates were hung in the gallows, and it is said that their ghosts haunt this building to this very day. The jail has been converted into a hostel, so you can actually stay the night, and it's pretty damn cheap. That's if you're brave enough. But just be warned, some people have claimed that an angry ghost was seen appearing at the foot of their bed, or that they can hear some screaming and necks breaking as they pass the gallows. I don't think even if this place is cheap, I would be staying there anytime soon. No thank you. I mean, I just wouldn't be able to sleep here. So I'd be paying to sleep at a place that I just won't be able to sleep. Moving on to number 5 with Lincoln Heights Jail. The prison was opened in 1931, but they closed their doors in 1965. Probably because there was so much abuse and brutality there. On Christmas Day, 7 inmates were brutally beaten and 8 police officers were arrested after an in-depth investigation was ordered. This beating was known as Bloody Christmas. So it was incidents like this one that makes people believe that this abandoned prison is haunted. According to the urban legend, there used to be a very vicious and nasty inmate that made the other prisoners desperately uncomfortable. People say that that the guards would place misbehaving inmates in the same cell as these deranged criminals, and when they made their rounds, the other inmates, they would be dead. Hopefully this really is an urban legend, because that would be pretty brutal if the story was actually real. All we can do right now is speculate. A Nottingham prison breaks into this list at number 4. The prison was built on a Saxon settlement that dates all the way back to 600 AD. And this is why people believe that this prison is haunted by a ton of ghosts and poltergeists. People say that when you come into the prison, you can hear random doors just slamming shut, creepy whispers, and sudden drops in temperature. To top everything else off, this prison also had a courtroom and performed many executions. So it's a one-stop shop for prisoners. They could be tried, sentenced, and punished all under the same roof. Mansfield Reformatory comes into number 3. This prison has been the backdrop for a lot of famous movies such as Shawshank Redemption and Air Force One. Both really good movies, but this prison also has a very violent past. Back in the 1930s, a riot broke out, and once the dust settled, 120 inmates were condemned to share 12 cells for the whole week. During their torture, they weren't given any food or water, which caused a lot of them to go insane or die. And over the course of its 94 years of operation, a lot of other prisoners died here due to diseases and suicide. Because of the high death toll, they put a cemetery on the grounds, and now there are over 200 graves. So as the urban legend goes, these tortured souls haunt the prison. Visitors have said that they have been aggressively pushed and punched by spirits. They feel sudden chills, they hear cell doors slamming shut, and they see a lot of dark spirits roaming around the halls. Next up, number 2 is a St. Augustine Jail. It is a common belief that the prisoners who were sent here, they were there to be punished, not rehabilitated. They were brutally tortured on a constant basis, and a lot of the prisoners were executed here in an inhumane way. So because of St. Augustine's dark past, a lot of scary paranormal goes on here. People believe that you can hear an evil laugh echoing in the hall, you can hear chains rattling and footsteps approaching you from behind. But be aware, because if you go on a paranormal tour here, make sure you don't visit the kitchen. There is a legend of a prisoner who haunts the kitchen by throwing knives at his unsuspecting victims. And topping this list, in at number 1, we have the HMP Shrewsbury Prison. There have been a ton of gruesome deaths that have occurred here over the years, including murders and suicide. There was actually so many suicides that an investigation was launched after 3 inmates hanged themselves over a period of just 2 weeks. It is said that the prison A wing is the most haunted part of the prison. The hanging room was converted into a session room, but it is definitely not a place that you would want to be in. Some officers who worked here in the past have said that they've been pushed down the stairs while they were working alone. They've heard doors slamming shut, seen things move around, and footsteps. It is believed that one of the dead female prisoners refused to leave, and she will try to grab anyone who is in her way and drag them to the execution chamber. Well, there you guys have it. You've made it to the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next most amazing top 10 video.